Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are all good. Today's video will be more focused on comparison between two best Xfce based operating system. One is Peppermint OS and another one is Linux Mint Xfce. So in this video we will do a complete technical comparison between the two operating system. Please watch the video completely to know the main difference between the operating system. So in this video we will go through the introduction of the operating systems and what is Peppermint OS and what is the Linux Mint Xfce, and the base system comparison and performance comparison we will go through, and we will check the desktop environment, software and tools, stability and updates, customization, and which is the best operating system for your use case. So introduction. So if you are wondering which one is better for your hardware, your workflow or your personal performance, this video will give you a complete breakdown. Let's start it. So as I discussed with you earlier, what is Peppermint operating system? Peppermint operating system is a lightweight Linux distribution known for its minimalism, speed, and Debian-based stability. It uses Xfce desktop environment and ships with very few pre-installed applications, giving a user clean and customizable starting point. Peppermint is ideal for older hardware, minimalistic, and users who want full control over what you install the application. On the other hand, the Linux Mint Xfce is a user-friendly, lightweight edition of Linux Mints built on Ubuntu LTS. It uses Xfce as a desktop environment and comes with full suite of Mint tools, utilities, and applications pre-installed. Linux Mint Xfce is designed for beginners who want a complete polished desktop experience right after installation. So the Peppermint operating system is based on Debian and Debian based, which means long-term stability and the options to avoid systemd. On the other hand, Linux Mint Xfce is based on Ubuntu LTS, offering a more modern ecosystem and broader software availability. So in the performance comparison, the Peppermint operating system is extremely lightweight, very low RAM usage and fast boot times, ideal for older and low specs hardware. Linux Mint Xfce is also a lightweight but heavier than Peppermint operating system. More background services will be running in Linux Mint, better suited for mid-range hardware. So if you are running a very old laptop or a system with limited RAM, Peppermint OS will feel noticeably faster. Linux Mint Xfce is still lighter but not as minimal as Peppermint. Both distros uses Xfce, known for being lightweight, customizable, and stable. So the main difference is Peppermint uses a more minimal Xfce setup, while Linux Mint Xfce includes Mint custom themes, tools, and UI polished. So I will go through both the operating system. By default, Peppermint operating system, a very few pre-installed applications or apps will be available. You need to install everything manually. But in Linux Mint Xfce, it comes with Firefox, LibreOffice, Mint Update Manager, Mint Software Manager, Driver Manager, and Media Tools. Linux Mint Xfce is ready to use immediately. Peppermint is blank canvas. You can install it whatever the application you need it. So the stability and update wise, Peppermint operating system is Debian based, which is rock solid and very conservative updates. Linux Mint Xfce, on the other hand, which comes with Linux Ubuntu LTS base, which comes with more frequent updates from the Ubuntu large system ecosystem. So straight away I will go to the operating system. So in our lab case, I have installed Linux Mint and Peppermint operating system in my Oracle VirtualBox. As you can see in the screen, I have downloaded Linux Mint 22.2. So if you are going to download the Linux Mint 20.2, go to Google, like Linux Mint, you will go to the screen. So if you hit download, there are three versions available. One is Cinnamon Edition, one is Xfce, and one is Mate. So in this case, we are checking the Xfce edition. If I'm clicking download, you can see. So the Xfce edition is around 3 GB of size ISO file. If you want the installation guide, you can directly go through. Linux Mint is one of the best well-polished operating system which has the more desktop user base with community-based support. On the other hand, Peppermint operating system is limited, and this is Debian based, Trexie based download. You can directly go to the Linux based operating system website and you can download Peppermint here, and you can check whichever you want, Trexie based or Bookworm. So this version is supported until June 2020. If I'm going to the Linux Mint, which is Ubuntu based, release announcements, as you can see here, it's 22.2 Zara released. The minimum hardware requirement is 2 GB of RAM, 4 GB is recommended, 20 GB of disk space, 100 GB is recommended. You can download through any of the link if you want to download from torrent or any versions depending upon the location, you can download it. And if you are going with Linux Peppermint operating system, the minimum hardware requirement is 1 GB of RAM, processor is 86 architecture, and 10 GB of available disk space. The recommended is 4 GB of RAM, and it's x86 or 64-bit processor, 32 GB of disk space. In my lab scenario, I have installed these two operating systems, Linux Mint and Linux Mint Peppermint operating system, with both identical. I have given 4 GB of RAM and two processor cores in my laptop. As you can see here, I have given the same hardware specs, but 4 GB of RAM and two cores of processor. So let me introduce to the main screen of this operating system. So this is the main screen, the home screen of Peppermint operating system. Let me give the password and hit enter. And I will give you the password for Linux Mint as well. First, let me go through the Peppermint operating system. If I'm going to check the OS release, you can see here it's Debian based, 13, Trixie based. The version ID is 13.2. If I'm going to the about Xfce, you can see here its Xfce version is 4.20 and kernel version is 6.12. Let me go to the Linux Mint and I will show you. Let me close this update manager window, and this is the welcome screen. Let me minimize it, then later on I can show you it. Click start system. Let me check the version for the Linux Mint as well. You can copy the same command from here, cat etc/os release, cat/etc/os release, hit enter. You can see here the name of the operating system is Linux Mint and its version is 22.2. The latest version is 22.3. It's not still completely stable, version has not yet been released. So its version ID is 22.2. So let me go walk through this operating system for the better understanding. First and foremost, I will show you the operating system, how much memory it's getting utilized. Let me close this update manager. Whenever you want, you can update this manually. Let me minimize this as well. Right top, hit enter. You can see here the Linux Mint Xfce is utilizing 434 MB of my RAM. Total memory installed is 4 GB. Free is 2738 MB of memory. If I'm going to the Peppermint, if I'm going and hit top, you can see here it is utilizing around 811. So as theoretical, it has to be consuming very less memory, but identically these two are utilizing the same size of the memory. In my opinion, Linux Mint Xfce is better option because it comes with pre-installed. If I'm going with the menu, if I'm going with the internet, you can see here there is nothing. There is LibreWolf web browser is there. There is no browser called Firefox. Nothing is there. It's bare minimum. So if I'm going to multimedia, you're unable to see any media player here. If I'm going to accessories, you will see only the minimum. If I'm going with others, you will not find any. If you want any office suite, you need to install it manually. If you want to install any browser, you need to install it manually. Where in the other hand, if I'm going with the Linux Mint, if I'm hitting start, you can see here in the graphics, I'm able to see document scanner is here, drawing is here, Pix is here. If I'm going to the internet, I can see Firefox is pre-installed, Matrix chat, online chat is there, Thunderbird mail client is here, and the transmission which used to download the torrents, it's also installed. If I'm going to multimedia, you can see here celluloid is there, install multimedia codec, rhythm box is also here. If I'm going with office, I can see the complete Linux LibreOffice suite has been pre-installed. So there is hassle-free installation, it has been already pre-installed. So in my opinion, Linux Mint Xfce version is the best option because this is widely used desktop operating system for the old hardwares and it's very convenient to use. Whereas in the other hand, the Peppermint operating system, it's very bare minimum. You can install it from the Debian base. So, but I prefer Linux Mint. So let me go through the welcome window of Linux Mint. You can see here, welcome to Linux Mint. Let's go. You can see the desktop colors. You can launch it and you can change the icon packs what is available here. Let me show you again. Driver manager, codec manager, software manager, firewall, it's everything is available here. Documentation is also available, straight to the point. You can see here icons pack has been already installed. You can change the icon pack. If you're going to the font, you can change the font with whichever you want, and you can go to the settings and you can see you can change the taskbar how it looks. Let me right click and show you. Create launcher, create folder. You can open the terminal directly from here. Arrange icons, desktop settings. You can change the desktop background from here. These are all the pre-installed desktop backgrounds. If I want to change the menu, enable delete options in the content menu. If you want to change the icon size, how it looks, how it behaves, you can change it from here. Let me go to the themes and show you how it looks. I'm closing all the icons, all the open windows. Let me go back to again to the terminal and I will show you how much memory it is consuming. Hit enter. You can see here we are using around 688 MB of our RAM. You can select the favorites as well. If I'm going to the appearance, you can change the style. You can see here it's getting changed. The themes are pre-installed. You can see mint. Now it's green, it's blue. You can see the taskbar icons colors are getting changed. So if I'm going for the icons, I can change the icons here. I'm changing to mint white navy. You can see here. This will give you the better understanding for you. I'm changing the color now. I will go to the pink. You can see here. You can change the icon palette colors with the wide variety of with a wide variety. So if I want to change this font, I will change it to extra bold. Select. You can see here the icons, the font size has been changed. So please go through the options carefully. And this is the update manager. Welcome to the update manager security updates. You will see all the updates in the screen. So I hope you like this video and see what all the difference you found in this both Xfce based operating system Linux distros. Let me walk through the Peppermint operating system also. Let me close all the windows and I will open the RAM utilization and we will see how much RAM it is installed, it's consuming. If I'm going top, I'm using 684 MB of my space. If I'm going to Linux Mint, now it is showing 1224, but normally it consumes 800, around 800 MB of disk space memory. Let me go again, let me check again. Background apps will be working, that's the reason it's consuming more space. RAM, I will go here and you can see here it's 684. If you are running a very old hardware or a laptop, the best operating system you can see is Peppermint. If you are using a moderate or medium hardware resources, you can go for Linux Mint. Linux Mint is very polished. If you are migrating from Linux, migrating from Windows and you want a stable operating system, you can use Linux Mint. Let me walk through the Peppermint operating system also. Close this. Create launcher, create folder, create document, desktop settings. Menu, desktop icons. You can change the icon also. If you want to set your customizable desktop background as well, you can also set this. So let me go to the other features. Menu editor, task manager. This is the GUI version of your top. You can see here I'm utilizing 697 MB of my RAM. Let me go back to the menu, color profiles, desktop. The main difference is Linux Peppermint operating system is directly derived from Debian, but whereas Linux Mint is derived from Ubuntu, Ubuntu is derived from Debian. But Linux Mint is having a very comprehensive user base and it's community driven support. You will hardly find any difficulty using Linux Mint. So you need to decide which operating system you need to use it. As I have already said, if you want maximum speed, you prefer Debian stability, you like minimalism, or you enjoy customizing your systems, if you are having an older hardware, you can go for Peppermint operating system. So if you want everything working immediately as soon as you install the operating system, you prefer a polished experience, or you want Mint tools and utilities, and you are a beginner to the Linux, and you want Ubuntu software ecosystem, you can use Linux Mint Xfce. So from my side, both Peppermint operating system and Linux Mint Xfce are excellent lightweight Linux distributions, but they serve different types of users. Peppermint is perfect for minimalism and older hardware, while Mint Xfce is ideal for beginners and users who want a complete desktop experience right away. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you found this comparison helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any future Linux reviews and tutorials. Drop a comment below and tell me which distro you prefer, Linux Peppermint operating system or Linux Mint Xfce. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you like this video. Thank you, friends.